like to start off my seminars with something that kind of relates to the whole thing. So today, given the subject matter, I'd like to say that deer eat everything. Thank you for coming. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gary Moews. I do landscape design and enhancements and installations for the nursery. And in my spare time, I'm assistant manager of the retail division. In my job, I'm often called on by people to do a foundation planting, something that kind of sets everything up. I call it my big 6 foundation plants. One of the big reasons is because they are all deer resistant, and you don't want your foundation plants to get eaten, obviously. Boxwoods, ligustrum, viburnum, anise, which I think is kind of a underused plant, does well in the shade. So something you might think about if you have a real shady situation. The infamous podocarpus and wax myrtle. The bonus question for extra credit today is, which one or how many of those are native to the southeast?
Depends on the species.
Does anybody know?
I'd say
The wax myrtle is, some viburnums are, not all of them. And the anise is native to Florida, but it's starting to kind of naturalize.
Anybody else? Good answer. You're right. I always kind of pick out wax myrtle out of that batch. I know anise is, viburnums. The one we mainly use here is Viburnum odoratissimum. It is not. So those are kind of the basis of what I use and what I do. I have a large group of plants here. I'm going to start out with the infamous poisonous oleander. And I kind of picked this guy. Oleanders can get very big, I'm sure, as most of you know. This happens to be a dwarf. So, kind of handy. I think it's, what is there, peach?
That might be petite pink, maybe?
Petite pink?
it looks pink.
Yeah, it does look pink. But as things have gone in the plant kingdom, obviously more and more dwarf things have been developed. And this is one, because it is so deer resistant, that I particularly like.
Does it require sun though?
Yes.
Yes, lots. But we have shady things too we can use. A farfugium.
Could you repeat?
Used
Could
to
you
be
say
called
that again?
farfugium. Farfugium. It used to be called Ligularia. Very cool plant. Likes, I'm going to say, high shade, filtered sun. A few years ago, pardon me?
That's not what they call tractor seed, is it?
Yes, yes. Also comes in the speckle ray. A few years ago, when we first got these in, I planted a couple of them. You can see them outside the office here, and I wasn't familiar with them, and so it happened to get cold that year, and they all died. And I'm going, oh my God, what have I done? So I cut them way back to about 6 inches high, covered them with pine straw, and if you look when you go outside the office, you can see what happens. They come back faster than most of our other plants. A couple of others that I use a lot are philodendrons and variegated ginger. Plants take a while, so a little tip on when things come or do not come back. We have to wait until the ground warms up. That's a lot later than the air. So don't get impatient. Let's stay on shady plants for a minute here. That right there. I really like him. Kind of I'm going to say almost a ground cover. It's called a cephalataxis. Again, kind of high shade, not a lot of hot summer sun, but an excellent shade plant and deer resistant. They can get pretty big. We actually have some planted out here. I don't know, 2 feet tall, something like that. Staying in the shade, another one of my favorites, Carex. I really like those. There are a couple of others. There's kind of a more, this one's kind of sort of white, but there's kind of a yellowish one too. Excellent plant for the shade, and should be able to tolerate, I don't know, half day of sun, something like that. Another one in the shade that I like. If you're looking for a ground cover, this is a good one. Ajuga. A-J-U-G-A. Excellent ground cover, and can give you a, I don't know, you're always, everybody, the infamous question that I always get is, boy, I need some color. Well, you know, a lot of times color is just maybe various shades of green, but Ajuga can give you some pretty good color. Going a little bit further into landscape plants, and again, landscape plants are sort of my wheelhouse. I know my flowers pretty well, but because I do a lot of landscape jobs, obviously that's one of the primary things that I use. From a deer standpoint, palms are deer resistant. Almost, I promised I wouldn't speak these words today in here, deer proof. I use them quite a bit. I actually think they're underused, and when I'm talking about palms, I'm not necessarily talking about the state palm, the sable palm, but its little brother, the sable minor, which is one of the clumpy palms you see around the island. It's either a sable minor or a saw palmetto, which is also basically really almost a native here. Those are just an obvious space filler that the deer should totally pretty much stay away from. Another one in the landscape arena that I really like are grasses. Again, almost exclusively deer resistant. Orchina grass, which goes by the name of cord grass, also very common grass you see around.
Is that for the shade or something?
Sun. I'm going into sun now. Pretty much your grasses are really going to like some good sun. Muley grass is a good one. That's the one that muley, M-U-H-L-Y. I won't bore you with the entire botanical name. Just muley grasses should be sufficient. That's the one that blooms really pretty and pink here in the fall. As well, needs some pretty bright sun to really bloom well. Pampas grass. That's the tall guy you see with the with the plumes coming out of it. That's an excellent deer-resistant plant. I use them a lot on kind of the corners of properties because they get big. Not quite like mealygrass, and they really should be cut back every year, cleaned out, whatever, because they get kind of, I don't know, unsightly is not a great word, but you know, they have kind of brown fronds in them and everything. So
You cut them way down.
yes,
Way down.
yes, way down, and it doesn't happen very often, but if you really want to be technical about cutting them down, you're supposed to kind of round them off a little bit. A lot of our landscapers around, and probably the greenery too, does what's called flat topping, which is, you know, which is just hacking them like that. That's okay, but optimum situation would be to cut it off a bit rounded. Let's go and look at some of these great perennials here. Again, we're gonna segue to the sun. Most herbs, this is obviously rosemary right here, is a nice plant to mix in with any of your in any of your gardens. Is deer resistant. Rosemary, sage, thyme. Most of your herbs are pretty deer resistant. One that I really like, lantana, kind of a ground cover. Two types of lantana. One is kind of more of a ground cover type. One gets a little taller. Again, terrific for attracting pollinators, butterflies. And while we're trying to attract pollinators, let's go with milkweed. Another excellent plant to collect pollinators, and I think milkweed is a host for monarch butterflies, is it not? Yeah. So,
Which are endangered.
While I got it here in front of me, I will mention it. One of the, now everything again that I've talked about here is perennial, which means, you know, obviously they're going to look like a pile of sticks for a few months out of the year. The one annual that I really like among the bunch is vacant, flowering vacant. Looks a little bit like an impatient. I pretty much treat it as an annual. They can reseed themselves a little bit, but it's a nice hot weather annual. You got to be careful when you get them in because they are a real enemy of the cold weather. Not to disparage them, but sometimes some of the big box stores get them in kind of early, and boy, you get them in too early and it's cold, you aren't going to have much of a vika left. One of my obvious favorites, salvia. All kinds of different colors of salvia.
Some can be perennials, some are annuals, so you do want to be careful.
There is a
what you
real
are.
pretty red one that is an annual. Yeah, let's go here for landscaping. This one you, if you've ever pulled your hair out over the deer, this is one that is pretty deer resistant. Society garlic, a very nice standard to use. You can kind of plant those around some of your some of your more or your less deer resistant plants, and hopefully that will keep the deer at bay. Curcuma, a member of the ginger family.
Curcuma.
Can take, unlike variegated ginger, curcumas, I believe, can take some pretty good sun.
How much shade do they take then?
I would say they're probably going to need a good half-day ascend to really bloom pretty, wouldn't you think?
There are some varieties that really do not want any midday summer sun. That one in particular would like to have at least 6 hours of sun.
Yeah. Really kind of pretty yellow guy right here is called Melon Podium. He is deer resistant. Melanpeodium. Melon Podium. We have two different sages here. We have Russian sage, which everybody may be fairly familiar with. And then we got one that really blooms cool here. Big. And that is Texas sage. That's a really pretty plant.
I'm going to be honest, the Texas sage is probably one of my favorites. It takes the sun, it requires a lot of sun, and once established, it is water wise, so it doesn't require a boatload of water every time you turn around. It is so far fairly evergreen, so I'm just going to throw that out there. It is probably one of my absolute favorites because it's a different color foliage. It's a flowering shrub. It's great. Sorry, Gary.
That's okay.
Does it get very big?
Oh yes, it can
Yeah,
get
it
pretty
can.
good sized, but it's very prunable.
It probably gets 3 or 4 feet tall. Doesn't it?
At least, yes.
Blue Days is another one. A very pretty
Days would be a days.
D-A-Z-E, Blue Days. Kind of a unique one. We mainly get this one from our Monrovia nursery. It's an osmanthus. It's called a Goshiki false holly. Kind of a shrubby little guy. Takes some pretty good sun, but will, I don't know, adds a little color to the garden. I believe this is a pineapple guava. That's, that also is deer resistant, kind of a nice bush, and will have a nice fruit to it too. Botanical name is Fijoa. You might have heard that. Last, I think, on my list up here is a dwarf crepe myrtle. Everybody loves crepe myrtles around.
Does it need a lot of sun?
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to take some pretty good sun. I can't go too far today without discussing a couple of deer repellents. Both of these are pretty good. One is it's called Imus Garden and has a mint scent, which makes it a little bit more palatable. Deer really don't like mint. And the other one is called Liquid Fence, been around for quite a while. Neither one, unfortunately, is rain tight. So I always talk about people. I mean, you know, as much as it's been raining lately, it's pretty tough to use a repellent. You know, I mean, actually, I believe you're supposed to start off when you plant it and then do it for 3 weeks. But wow, this time of year, doing it for 3 weeks following the rain, that's a tough one.
Deer repellents work if they're used properly, and it's always a good idea to switch them up every few weeks.
For the homeopathic people among us, the first one is deer repellent. First one is human hair, which I guess if you're pulling your hair out of a deer coming, maybe you can have some of that. That's again, most of these again are not rain tight, but they are sort of stuff that you would normally have around the house.
What about dog hair?
Well, dog hair I don't know about. However, cat litter is another one that supposedly is a deer repellent.
Used.
Used cat litter, yes. Irish Spring soap. It is also kind of an old-timey one that you know you can supposedly use it around the garden. Garlic, obviously. Maybe making it into a spray. something like that. That should be, hopefully, will give you some deer resistance. Rotten eggs, which I don't know if you want to keep those around. But let me tell you, this smells like rotten eggs right here. I think that's in it. We broke a bottle one time in the sales hut, and we couldn't go in there for 2 or 3 days, it seemed like. Vinegar is another one. Yeah,
Red wine vinegar or any vinegar?
well, probably any vinegar. I've heard of these for moles mainly, but they say some people use mothballs. One that I'm kind of a little leery of is it's actually a fertilizer that we carry. It's blood meal. Now that's supposed to mimic the scent of animal blood or something like that. But on the other hand, I've heard it can kind of attract your dog and raccoons and people or other things like that. I got to tell a quick story about deer around here at the nursery. The deer got loose in here a few times a while ago, and they only went after one certain plant first. That plant is one that you used to see around Hilton Head a lot as a landscaping plant. It has kind of a pulpy leaf, but I'll be darned if wherever we had them, it seemed like the deer went there first. Plant is Indian hawthorn. Kind of has a real pulpy leaf to it. And I'll be darned if the deer that got in here didn't go after that first. So that's it. Thanks for coming.